that we want, you know, especially for beginners. Another reason we don't want to sit up like this, right? You buck your hips, right? I'm gonna get moving like that. So it's not a good position to sit up. I know sometimes we get to mount, we're like, yes, I got here, right? But we want to flatten them out. I want to have my chest down. Most of the time I want my chest down. The only time I want my chest up in the mount when I'm in like a technical mount, like this. I still have my chest down pushing them most of the time. But if my knees are tight and feet are tight, I want my chest down. If I'm skydiving, so which means I have my ankles crossed or feet are engaged up in the top of his back of his knees, I'm gonna squish you, ready, buddy? Okay, so now I'm here and I have a cross face. 2 fingers in the armpit. I don't want this hand to be free. I'm here like this. T-Rex super tight. So I need to get underneath his elbow, okay? And I'm gonna walk this arm out. Keep it super tight, okay? So if I try and do it with my arm out on the mat, he'll always be able to bring it back. So keep resisting. I'll just walk it out. Itsy bitsy spiders, what I tell the kids class, right? He's resisting fully right now. And then eventually as his arm starts to pass over here, I'll connect to the top of his head. So now he doesn't have any, I have another connection, which makes it harder for him to be able to pull his arm back. So I want to get my head to the other side of this arm. So I start to drop my head, but you'll notice that my shoulder is way up on the top of his head, and it's supposed to be in his neck, right? So I'll have to adjust my body and come back down to drop my shoulder into his neck. And then I'll be able to gable grip, and I have head connection here. You can put it on the ground. You can even post with your hand, so long as you don't ever let his arm come back over here with that arm to do that, right? So I can be gable gripped and lock the head. I can push and lock the head. Now we did all kinds of ways of passing our legs across. We slid across, we windshield wiped, we cartwheeled, right? So we did several different variations. But at a basics, I want to come off of my knees onto my toes, and I slide my knee across. Notice I've cupped his leg. He's not able to connect or not pull guard, I'm saying, right? I don't want him to catch my legs or anything like that, right? Exactly. So when I pass across, I'm usually catching, and then I'll gable grip. I rotate away from him. Now I've got my chin on his forehead. My elbows are straight, and I give a little lean and a squeeze, and I get my tap. Always ensuring that my forearms are 100% straight. I'm not pulling, and I'm not pulling this way. My arms are totally straight. Like I said earlier, if my forearms are bent in a 90-degree angle, he'll be able to bridge into me, and sometimes, especially if he's bigger, he's gonna roll over me or roll on top or roll me over. My arms are now in a skeletal structure to where he can't push me over because I'm framed. Now try and bridge into me, he can't turn me over because my arms are framed. I still don't want him to put me in half guard with his leg, so that's why I walked away from him. Okay, then I'm over here like this, I'm pushing into him. Again, we'll start from the mount. I'm here. I like to swim inside the arm instead of grabbing around the head and laying on top of both forearms. Okay, so I could be skydiving first, I could not be first. Either I can do the arm work first. Either way, I can have my arm come inside, come around his head, and I grab. Now it's about this arm. He's gonna go ahead and buck and move and do all that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna keep itsy bitsy spider this way. And I wanna lean forward, or to the left, sorry, lean this way, right? I'll eventually want to use my chest. Sometimes his arm, you notice his arm kind of got caught right there. I don't want it to keep going like this. So what I'll do is I'll push my chest forward, see how his hand popped out? And then I can continue walking until I make connection on the top of his head, okay? Now I gotta get my arm on the other side of his head and then back up. So I start to back my head up all the way to here. So that my shoulder drops into his neck. That's why I back my head up. Right? I can post, across, I still block the guard, connect, rotate, and he chokes. Once in a while, people will do what they call talking on the phone. They'll put their head or their hand next to the head to try and defend the space connecting to the neck, to try and defend the arm triangle. But unfortunately, that's not an escape. That's like delaying the inevitable. It doesn't mean that he escaped the position. So what I mean by that is like, I'll be here, yeah, and some guys will do this, see? They'll try and prevent that. Little cool submission that you could always do. You got adjustments and a submission. So I can adjust by just going here, and then I seal it with my head or my chin. Or I actually drop my head down low, and I pull his arm around my head. And it's like an Americana, right? So number one, if you ever do that, I could push, and then seal the deal with my chin. Or I can push it up, and then bring it around my head, and it gets him in an Americana. Okay, let's go one more time. So I'm skydive, I walk underneath. If his arm gets caught, I push my chest and it pops his hand out. I base, and I walk and I grab the wrist. Or sorry, the hand on top of the head. All right? I walk my neck down his arm, and then this time I'll do a gable grip instead of a post. And now I have my head connected to his head. Post, cut across, rotate, walk away from him and squeeze. Guys good to go? Let's do 2 and switch, 2 and switch, 2 and switch. Ready, set.